I'm Christina. I'm one of the 2019-2020 Tacoma Artist Initiative Project grant awardees, and I'm making this video in lieu of my original project for the grant. And let me tell you why. So my original proposal for the Artist Initiative Program grant was that I'm a potter and I wanted to make 3 functional sets, 3 dinner sets of pottery, and then exhibit them, let people from Tacoma come, pick up, touch the pottery, see what it felt like, and then I wanted people to take it home and borrow it, try it out, bring it back, and let somebody else try it out. What I was thinking about there is that one of the challenges and joys, so one of the joys of homemade pottery is that using it really transforms your experience of food and of eating and enjoying that. I don't feel, as a functional potter, I don't think you can really fully appreciate what's going on with a piece of pottery just by seeing it or just by touching it. You really have to use it. You have to have a cup of coffee out of that to feel what it's like and see how that changes or alters your experience. And the problem with that is that, as any of you who make pottery or buy pottery know, handmade pottery has extremely high labor costs, and it makes it really expensive. And because of the cost, that puts that experience of using handmade pottery out of reach of a lot of people. And I wanted to use this grant as a way of making that experience more accessible and opening it up to a wider range of people. So my original plan was to design and make the sets, then exhibit them over the summer and lend them out in the fall. And as we are all very well aware, spring is when the coronavirus hit, and that really changed what would be wise or feasible for a project like mine. I kept kind of putting off the date of when I would do the exhibit, when I would do the lending library. I joined the conspiracy of optimism and thought, well, maybe it'll change. Maybe by the fall things will be different. And as has proven to be the case, that is not at all true. And so the original vision for this project just is not a good idea. So instead, what I'm doing is I've completed all the pottery and I want to show it to you and let the people of Tacoma at least see this work and let me talk about it a little bit. So I made 3 distinct sets, and one of the ways I distinguished them is by both the clay body that I used and the method of making them. So the first set is a method that was made with Idaho buff stoneware clay, which is a buff clay with speckles in it, and it is a slab built set. So slab building is a way of making pottery where you roll out and compress the clay into a slab, then cut it and shape it either over a form, over a mold, or by hand into the shape that you want. So this set consists of 4 pieces. 2 of them are entirely slab built. The 2 plates are slab built, and then the cup and the bowl have slab built handles. And let me show you what is going on with those things. So for the plates, one of the things that I like to explore in my work or think about in my work is I want the piece to feel really approachable. I want it to have a bit of a handle. And that's what I did with these plates. So I've made the 2 plates. They're basically round shapes, but then they have this little curve that comes off of the top. And it's a point where there's this unglazed section of clay, and the backs are all unglazed. And what I'm doing there is making it really obvious that this is a handle. This is how you hold this piece. This is how you're going to interact with it. And it just kind of, I think, opens it up and makes it's an invitation to pick this up. And so I really like the handle aspect of how these 2 came out. And there's the small and the large plate in 2 different glazes. The glaze on this one is a glaze I call Mystery Teal. And Mystery Teal is a name that's a nod to potters like me who are glaze developers and also really bad record keepers. So I've developed this glaze that at this point I'm pretty satisfied with, but along the way I thought, well, it needs to be a little bit more like this, or I need a little bit more gloss, or I need a little bit more color response. And I didn't always write everything down as well as I should. So now I have a giant bucket of Mystery Teal glaze that is working really well, but I know that when I run out and I have to recreate that, I'm probably gonna run into some problems. So I have my 2 slab built plates in this set, and then the cup and the bowl. And the bowl is a shallow little snack bowl, and they both have the slab handles that are kind of exaggerated on this form, and making it a holdable place to hold this handle. The Mystery Teal glaze inside, and the other 2, the plate and the bowl, have a mossy green, brown, yellow variegated glaze, matte glaze inside. So that is the first set, which is built out of the slab method and Idaho buff buff clay. The second set, so what I'm doing with the second set is I really wanted to work with a sensation of weight here. I wanted to make a set that felt really substantial and heavy and felt like something that's been around for 1,000 years and it's going to be around for another 1,000 years. So it's thick-walled, heavy clay, heavy black clay that I made all using a carving method. So this second set is all hand carved. And here's the bowl of this piece. So it's kind of a shallow boat-shaped bowl with a gentle curve here, a smoothed carved bottom, and it has a glaze inside that's kind of it's a smog gray. It's not smoke gray because it's got some brown in there. So it's kind of a brown gray glaze with some elements of gloss and some elements of matte that are working in this shape. So this is the bowl, and it's kind of a dinner size. It could hold a substantial amount, and it communicates this sense of this is a weighty thing. And the plate then, I think, takes that experience to even more extreme. So this is something that will feel like this is what I've made for you. This is what I'm giving you. And it's carved clay, carved black clay. This plate is entirely unglazed. So the whole piece is, again, meant to have a very rustic, kind of primitive feel to it that feels a little different than something that you may have used before. So it's got a different, an organic shape to it. It's very shallow. It's got an organic curve to the side and then a shallow and gentle curve in the interior of the plate that is, it's reminiscent of like a shard of a rock or a piece of shale that you're using as a plate, and it has that kind of primitive nature, and it's a heavy piece. If you drop this on your foot, you would definitely feel it. But that's what I'm going for there, is this idea that this is something that's carved out of clay and fired to this dark black. And the cup of this series is again, it's carved from a single block of clay, but with the cup I used the Kuranuki carving method, which is a carving method that really allows you to show how the cup was carved in its final form. So these facets and panels, these organic facets, are showing where the chisel came in. They're showing where the clay was ripped away. And I think that is what I was going for here, this idea that this is showing you how it was made, and it has that same heavy weightiness of the other pieces of this set in a rustic but carved fashion. So here's the cup from this series, and it's a three-piece place setting of the bowl and the cup and the plate. And then my last set is my wheel thrown set, and it is made with brown clay, chocolate brown clay, and I have to say this one's my favorite. I think I like this one the most because the way this clay feels, I think, is what makes it really appealing to me. It has a really gentle, a rough texture that's a little bit smooth and rough at the same time, in a way that it just feels really friendly. It feels familiar. It feels like something that you know. And I really like that about this. So the shapes on this are really simple. This is the cup. So it's just a simple simple curved cup with brown exterior unglazed, and the interior has a dark brown glaze as well. The glaze is actually the same glaze that's on the black, on the smog gray on the black, and it reacts just slightly differently on this clay and turns into a kind of a foggy chocolate brown on the chocolate clay. So there's this piece. This set has three pieces. There's the cup, and then there are the two dinner bowls. And the dinner bowls are kind of a hybrid between a plate and a bowl. They have a shallow profile, but a nice curve here to contain whatever you're serving in them. And what I'm doing here is this is a continuation of my exploration of a handle in a piece of pottery or in a piece of dinnerware. And instead of adding the handle, instead of the handle being something that was added to the main form of the piece, for these pieces, I am doing a subtractive handle. And I've taken away a little shallow dip of clay here, and that is meant to tell you how to interact with the piece. The piece is introducing itself, saying, "Here's how you hold me. This is a moment of rest in this piece that you can hold this way." And it's got it's thrown on the wheel, so it's got a very sharp round geometry to it, and then the subtractive handle is just a little thing that shows you where this goes. So this is the smaller plate size. the appetizer plate size, and it's got mystery teal in it. And then the larger one also has that subtractive handle that curves around and just gives you a way to interact with this. And it's got the chocolate brown. And then, you know, nested together, you can see both of those handles interacting with each other. And that's the three sets: my wheel throne, my slab built, and my hand carved sets. And that's hopefully, you know, I wanted to at least show these and show how I made them and what is different and what I was exploring with those. So I am very grateful to the Tacoma Arts Council for giving me this grant. The grant gave me the time and the space to really think about and explore, and a deadline to explore and try and make something a little bit different and step out of some of the things I was doing in a really interesting way that I really appreciate. I'm very thankful for the chance to do that, and I'm glad that I got to make these sets as part of the grant proposal.